Rival rips Andrew Cuomo's handling of COVID in tribute to veteran dad who died in hospital during shutdown. I can't believe the ex-governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, has the audacity to run for mayor of New York after the atrocities that happened under his leadership when he was running New York, the state of New York, as governor. I mean, he came up with the bright idea to put people with COVID in the same facilities with older people who's one of the most vulnerable populations. You know, they have a low immune system. You're gonna put people with COVID in there with them, and people died. People died because of this. People weren't able to see their elder family members because of this guy. And he has the audacity to run for mayor of New York. It's just crazy. Like we were supposed to forget about what happened. This guy, I hope he goes to prison for what he did. I'm glad that the Trump administration or the DOJ is coming after Andrew Cuomo, and rightfully so. So we're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the New York Post, and they report that mayoral candidate Adrene Adams, I think I said her name right, Adrene Adams, if I haven't, I apologize, ripped rival Andrew Cuomo handling of the COVID-19 crisis as she tearfully remembered the injustice of her military veteran father's death in a hospital during the shutdown. Adams on Thursday criticized Democratic Party primary frontrunner Cuomo for his, quote, redemption campaign to return to office several years after resigning as state governor while embroiled in scandal. Quote, this past Easter, Andrew Cuomo campaigned in a church, said Adams, who is now serving as city council president. This is her right here. She said, quote, recounting this chapter in New York's past, he said, you hit us with COVID, life and death. We do what they said was impossible, and we save lives. His words stayed with me because I remember begging the governor office to send life-saving vaccines to my community, Adams told reporters at a news conference at Elmhurst Hospital. And for weeks and months, our request was denied no matter what we did because the site where the vaccines were supposed to go was run by the then mayor de Blasio, the former governor's political enemy. She tied the bickering to the death of her father, Irvin 80, who died of COVID-19 in Long Island Jewish Hospital May 22nd, 2020, before the vaccine was developed. There's some arguments there about the vaccine. I'm going to leave it alone. I will just go off of what she says here. The vaccine would have helped her father. But if y'all really want to know how my thoughts on that, check me out on Patreon, where I've done tons of videos on the subject. But she said didn't take her UPS driver and Air Force military veteran dad to Elmhurst, even though it was the closest hospital to his Jackson Heights home, because it was overwhelmed with coronavirus patients and considered the local epicenter of the pandemic. She said, quote, people only go to Elmhurst to die, a tearful Adams claimed. The EMTs told her when her father was being taken for medical treatment. She could not visit him in the hospital, hold a military funeral service at his beloved St. Mark AIM Church, or hold a ceremony at Calverton National Cemetery because of pandemic restrictions, he added. Well, y'all voted for, I feel bad that she couldn't have the proper respects for her dad when he died, but y'all voted for this. Y'all voted for this. Y'all voted for these leftists to run y'all city, to run y'all state. And then when a tragic event happened like COVID and the shutdowns happened, y'all were quiet and didn't say anything about it when these things were happening. Y'all voted for this. Y'all vote for this leftism. But Cuomo and de Blasio feud over lags in vaccine distribution and the control of distribution sites punished New Yorkers, Adams said. She said, quote, his words stayed with me because my father lost his life, she said at an event held on the anniversary of 80's death. My father served his government with pride, but when he needed his government to serve him, it failed. And it didn't fail him by accident, it failed him by design. The council speaker noted her daughter, Alia, I can't pronounce none of their names, who was in the audience supporting her mom on Thursday morning, was on the front lines as a pandemic during the pandemic. Oh, paramedic during the pandemic. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm struggling reading today. It's been a long day. She had claimed in 2020 that hospital staff did not have enough protective gear, pointing out that some nurses donned garbage bags over their gowns for protection from the deadly infection, as the Post had previously reported. I mean, you understand the ridiculousness that was going on under the pandemic. Adams' broadside comes as Trump's Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation into Cuomo for allegedly lying to Congress about deaths in Empire State nursing homes during the pandemic shutdown. It was a lot of deaths. It was a lot of deaths that couldn't more than likely wouldn't have happened because why would you put people infected with COVID around your most vulnerable population? Why would you think that's okay? What did you think the outcome was going to be? Even though, people chances of dying of COVID was very low, unless you were vulnerable, which means, elderly is vulnerable and very, very young people. But a report released by Mayor Eric Adams' administration in March claimed Cuomo heavy-handedness and micromanaging hindered pandemic coordination and response between city and state agencies. Mayor Eric Adams also took shots at Cuomo for a campaign while embroiled in scandal. And Cuomo has denied wrongdoing, of course, and even released a campaign aid claiming he's being unfairly targeted by Trump. I think it means campaign ad claiming. But Andreen Adams, no relation to the current mayor, claims the pandemic showed Cuomo is too vindictive to run City Hall. Quote, expect leaders who care more about solving our problems than punishing their enemies. Adams, who is the first Black City Council speaker. Not for power, not for redemption, but for the New Yorkers who've lived with neglect and never left, who never lost hope. I'm in it for all of us. In response, the Cuomo campaign put a key social service provider on the phone and provided statements from 3 Black pastors claiming the ex-governor was responsive in providing pandemic fighting resources during the COVID-19 outbreak. Wow. So let me pull up some Black faces to show that I did a great job, right? That's what he did here. Quote, the Cuomo administration worked feverishly to provide communities of color with information, testing, and vaccines, said Jennifer Jones Austin, CEO of the Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies. Bishop Orlando Finlater of New Hope Christian Fellowship in Bronx rapped Andreen Adams for unfairly the governor. What? I'm sorry, y'all. I swear this is not me. This is a typo or something. I'm only reading that here. But, quote, Governor Cuomo stood with the Black community during our most difficult days in ways few elected officials ever have. It is deeply troubling when any leader chooses to mislead our community for political gain, Fidlater, who has endorsed Cuomo, said. I hope Speaker Adams, as someone who understands the weight of leadership, will reflect on importance of honesty and unity as we all work towards a better future for our communities. But there you have it. If New Yorkers vote for Cuomo, man, they get exactly what they deserve. I mean, Who in their right mind will vote for this man? But you know, some people will. You still see the black church still caping for the same guy that killed a lot of people in New York. It's just ridiculous. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.